African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 30th of May, 2025. From May 24th to May 30th this year, in response to the Kiev regime's massive attacks using aircraft-type strike UAVs and Western-made rockets against civilian targets on the territory of the Russian Federation, the Russian armed forces carried out 5 group and 2 massive strikes with high-precision weapons and strike unmanned aerial vehicles against enterprises of the Ukrainian defense industry complex, the infrastructure of military airfields, electronic intelligence, and satellite communications centers, the position of the American Patriot anti-aircraft missile system, the Center of Special Operations Forces and Aviation of the SBU, the parking places of combat and unmanned boats, the shelter of the U.S.-made Mars multiple launch rocket system, weapons and ammunition depots, places of production and storage of strike UAVs, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries. The strike's objectives have been achieved. Over the course of a week, units of the North Group of Forces, during active offensive operations, liberated the settlements of Lakhnya, Vladimirovka, Belovati, and Konstantinovka in the Sumy region. Airstrikes, unmanned aerial vehicles and artillery fire damaged the manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized, 2 airborne assault, and a motorized infantry brigades, 2 assault centers of the Special Operations Forces, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 3 territorial defense brigades and a border detachment of the Border Service of Ukraine. Over the course of a week, in the area of responsibility of the North Group of Forces, the enemy suffered over 1,490 servicemen. For tanks, 22 combat armored vehicles, 46 cars, 37 field artillery guns, 6 electronic warfare stations, and 9 ammunition depots were destroyed. As a result of decisive actions by units of the West Military Group, the settlements of Stroyevka and Kondrashovka in the Kharkov region were liberated. The manpower and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, 5 territorial defense brigades, 2 brigades of the National Guard and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service were damaged. That the enemy lost over 1,495 servicemen, 2 tanks, 13 armored combat vehicles, including 3 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 83 vehicles, 11 field artillery guns, 8 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations, and 19 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Southern Group of Forces continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defenses and liberated the settlements of Stopatsky, Romanovka, Staraya Nikolaevka, and Natavka of the Donetsk People's Republic. They defeated the formations of 7 mechanized, assault, mountain assault, airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and a National Guard brigade. Over the week, the losses of Ukrainian armed formations in this direction amounted to more than 1,615 servicemen, a tank, 27 combat armored vehicles, including 2 Canadian-made Senator armored personnel carriers, 6 field artillery guns, 48 vehicles, 11 electronic warfare stations, as well as 21 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. As a result of decisive actions by units of the Center Group of Forces, the village of Shevchenko-Pervoy in the Donetsk People's Republic was liberated. The manpower and equipment of 6 mechanized, airborne assault, and ranger brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, 2 Marine brigades, the Azov Special Forces Brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades were damaged. That the enemy lost over 3,060 troops, a tank, 39 armored combat vehicles, including an M113 armored personnel carrier and a U.S.-made Max Pro armored vehicle. 57 vehicles and 9 field artillery pieces were destroyed. Over the past week, units of the East Military Group, as a result of active operations, liberated the settlements of Otradnoy and Zelenopol of the Donetsk People's Republic. the formations of 4 mechanized, Ranger, Airborne Assault, Airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine brigade and 2 territorial defense brigades were defeated. That the enemy lost more than 1,265 servicemen, a tank and 22 combat armored vehicles. 66 vehicles, 17 field artillery guns and 12 electronic warfare stations were destroyed. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of the mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 3 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, 4 territorial defense brigades and a National Guard brigade. That the Ukrainian Armed Forces lost over 495 servicemen and an armored combat vehicle. 54 vehicles, 4 field artillery guns, 18 electronic warfare stations, and 23 ammunition and supply depots were destroyed. Over the past week, air defense systems have shot down a MiG-29 aircraft of the Ukrainian Air Force, 30 JDAM guided aerial bombs and 16 rockets of the US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system, as well as 1,439 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles, including 907 outside the Special Military Operations Zone. In total, since the beginning of the Special Military Operation, the following have been destroyed: 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 60,423 unmanned aerial vehicles, 607 anti-aircraft missile systems, 23,651 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,565 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 25,396 field artillery pieces and mortars, 36,191 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.